Mom called me useless in front of our whole family, so I gave her 1 week of useless. By Sunday, the water was shut off. My brother was sleeping at a neighbor's house, and my mom was on the phone crying to the same aunt she'd been laughing with 5 days earlier. I'm 16. I've been the only functioning adult in my house since I was 12. My mom works nights at a nursing home. She makes decent money, but she spends it before it lands. Nails, subscriptions she never uses, overnight packages from websites I've never heard of. My stepdad Glenn drives a forklift. He's not mean. He's just not there. Even when he's sitting in the living room, he's not there. I have a younger brother, Hollis, who's 9. I work weekends at a car wash and pick up shifts bussing tables at a diner on school nights. I bring home around $700 a month. Every cent goes to this house. I pay the water bill because my mom forgot it so many times they put us on a final notice list. I buy groceries every Tuesday. I cook dinner 5 nights a week. I make sure Hollis does his reading log. I take him to his asthma appointments because the last time my mom took him, she went to the wrong office and missed it entirely. I check his inhaler before bed. I wash his sheets every week because dust makes his breathing worse, and nobody else thinks about that. Nobody notices. My mom thinks the house runs on autopilot. Glenn thinks everything is my mom. My mom thinks everything is just easy. Last Tuesday, my Aunt Sheila came over for dinner. I'd cooked baked chicken, rice, green beans, nothing fancy, but it was hot, and it was ready. Halfway through, my mom started complaining about money. Sheila asked how the bills were getting paid. My mom shrugged. Glenn handles most of it. I cover what I can. I put my fork down. Glenn wasn't even at the table. He was eating in the living room watching TV. I said, I pay the water bill. I buy the groceries. I cooked this dinner. My mom laughed. Not a mean laugh. Worse. A dismissive one. She looked at Sheila and said, he thinks making rice once in a while makes him the man of the house. He's useless half the time. I don't know what he does all day. Sheila laughed too. Hollis was sitting right there. I didn't say anything else. I finished eating, washed my plate, and decided Tuesday was the last day I'd carry anything in that house. Wednesday, I woke up and left for school. Didn't cook, didn't clean, didn't check Hollis's backpack, didn't leave the grocery money on the counter like I usually do. When I got home, Hollis was eating dry cereal out of the box. No dinner. Mom was asleep on the couch at 6:30. Thursday, the dishes from Tuesday's dinner were still in the sink. I knew because my plate was the only one missing. Nobody had touched the kitchen. Hollis told me he had a cough and couldn't find his inhaler. I found it for him. That was the only thing I did. Friday, the water got shut off. I knew it would. The bill was due Wednesday. I always pay it by Monday. Nobody else even knew there was a bill. Mom woke up Saturday morning, tried the shower, and nothing came out. She screamed Glenn's name. Glenn called the water company. They told him the account had been 4 months behind until recently, and that the last 3 payments came from a different source, my debit card, and that source had stopped. Mom came to my room. Did you stop paying the water bill? I said, I thought I was useless. She didn't answer. By Saturday night, Hollis's cough was worse. His sheets hadn't been washed in over a week. I could hear him wheezing through the wall. I went to his room, stripped the bed, put on fresh sheets, gave him his inhaler, and sat with him until he fell asleep. But that was for Hollis, not for her. Sunday morning, Mom called Aunt Sheila. I heard her through the door. I don't know how everything fell apart this fast. Sheila asked what changed. Mom said, nothing changed. That's the problem. Nobody's doing anything. I opened my door and looked at her. She stared at me. I watched it register. The groceries, the cooking, the water bill, the inhaler, the sheets, Tuesday's dinner that she took credit for while calling me useless to our whole family. She hung up the phone. She sat on the hallway floor and said, I didn't know. I said, you didn't look. She cried. I didn't. Monday, she paid the water reconnection fee herself. She went to the grocery store for the first time in months. She bought the wrong rice and forgot Hollis's apple juice, but she went. Glenn still eats in the living room. Mom still doesn't fully get it. Hollis still comes to me first when he can't breathe. But now when Sheila calls and asks how the house runs, my mom goes quiet. Because she knows the answer was sitting at her dinner table the whole time, and he wasn't useless.